like to call the meeting of DPW for April 10th, 2017 to order. First, just ask if anybody is recording this other than OCAT.
Shirley Tancredi for the minutes.
Thank you, Shirley. First on the agenda, or second on the agenda, is to review and approve the minutes of the March 27, 2017 meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting of March 27th.
I second the motion.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next, we'll go right into Bob's superintendent's report.
Thank you. Expectedly a fairly quick meeting tonight because I think between all of us we don't have a lot of new things to talk about, but a couple of things. The monthly budget review, which is the first sheet that you'll see in the handout, I think is very similar to previous months. We are now entering, we're essentially 3/4 of the way through the year at this point. We were, as of the end of March, we were in week 39, just shy of 75% of the way through the year. If you take a look at each of our divisions, we're trending well, really essentially right on where we want to be, if not, a little bit under budget at this time of the year. Trends, again, have been very similar to in the past. We do very well in some areas. For instance, our energy budgets, we are, trending significantly less than last year, even though from a heating season standpoint, we had probably a more typical heating season this year than we did last year. But the energy savings, the electricity savings we've realized have more than made up for the additional heating costs this year as compared to last year, which was really a very light heating season last season. Unless there's any questions, I think that's, again, the trends are all exactly where we want to be at this time of year.
Nicely done. Good work.
Snow and ice is what it is.
Yeah, we remain, ahead of last year, but well below 2 years ago.
Yep.
So again, probably a pretty typical year at this point. If we take a look at where, last 10 years or so in terms of expenditures, we're probably right about average. Next item I wanted to mention or remind the board of is that the Maple Shade Water Main Project bids are coming in on April 19th at 2 p.m. We probably have about a dozen plan holders right now, which maybe a half dozen of those I expect might be real bidders on the project. So I expect we'll get good competition. And again, the schedule on that one is to really hit that hard in the summertime and get a little bit of prep work done before the 4th of July, but then hit it hard after the 4th of July parade and get it all done before school starts at the end of August. From a staffing standpoint, we still have 2 openings within the DPW. We have a skilled worker opening, which has been posted online for a few weeks now, and just today got posted on Mass Live as well. We've had probably 6 to 9 applicants right now at this point. The key to being a successful applicant there is that you need to have your licenses in hand when you apply. You need to have your commercial driver's license, which is a prerequisite for the position, and your hoisting license, which is again a prerequisite for the position. Of the applications that were received to date, only one of the people that have submitted applications to date have both licenses in place. So even though we've got a decent number of applications, really there's only one candidate right now that we would consider for the position. We're interviewing that person later this week. Although we'd like to fill that position as soon as we can, we'll only fill it if we find an individual that we feel has all the prerequisites and is a good fit for the department and for the job. So it may continue to be open for some time until we find the right person. So if you know of anyone, certainly tell them to make certain they submit an application through the Human Resource Department in town. On the pumping station operator position, Mr. Waldron is still filling in for that position, and I think it's been working pretty well. I think he's coming up to speed. He doesn't, we've talked about before, he doesn't possess all the licenses that are required, but depending on what we receive for outside applicants, he may be a candidate with some additional training and time to be able to step into that position over time. At this point, despite having posted that position on Mass Live, the New England chapter of American Public Works Association, the New England chapter of American Water Works, the New England chapter of Water Environment Association, which is the wastewater organization, we have received no external applications at this point. So likewise, and that one's been out there for a couple of weeks now. It may be a sign of the times in the economy where, the private side of the business is picked up and, it may be less advantageous to consider shifting over to the public sector right now. So, in talking with the Human Resource Director, we'll likely leave that posting and that position open through the end of this month, and then we'll take a look at what we have available at that point, and then make some decisions regarding internal versus external candidates, because it is a position that we either need to train somebody to take on or bring somebody in from the outside to take on. I think I mentioned at the last meeting that we had a foreman position open that we are interviewing internal candidates for. We interviewed 3 candidates, and ultimately it was a unanimous recommendation of the committee that was put together, myself, Mr. Esposito, and our Human Resource Director, Karen Decker, to promote Chad Ruel to that position. So Chad has now been acting or in the foreman position now for going on a week and a day or so. It started last Monday. The next item, at the last meeting, I spent quite a bit of time talking about the operational evaluation that we are required to do as a result of the disinfection byproducts getting close to the limit that we're supposed to achieve. And I mentioned at the last meeting that we had just received the latest data in, and we were taking a look at that to see if there's any additional notifications that were required. After reviewing that data, yes, in fact, we do have to issue a public notice that has to be issued within 30 days of becoming aware of the results, which showed that we exceeded the limit for total trihalomethanes. So that public notice will be going out as part of our annual water system report that goes out every year. That'll be mailed out no later than the 22nd of this month. And I did attach a copy of that public notice to your package. We also have to provide a secondary means of notification. The regulations require you not only to mail to all customers, but get the information out to others that might use the water supply that might not receive a mailing. So there'll also be a posting that's put into the Republican at about the same time frame. A slightly abbreviated version of the public notice. The good news is that the test results that we did get back in the first quarter showed a significant reduction in total trihalomethanes. The target number is 80, and the results that we received at the highest site was 58, so we were well below the limit at that quarter. But because it's an average over the previous 4 quarters, our high level was really driven by a number that we saw in the 3rd and the 4th quarter of 2016. But with the trend that we're seeing now, I'm optimistic that, as we go out another quarter, that we won't end up in the same situation we are right now, because we're now seeing, as a result of additional efforts that Springfield Water and Sewer Commission is doing to further enhance their treatment, we're also making the efforts that we can to reduce the amount of chlorine that we add to our system, which will help to reduce the byproducts. That the combination of those two will be successful in bringing the numbers down, so we don't have to do a further public notification. But there'll be another 2 months before we know for certain. Let's see. Next item, I did want to note for the public's benefit that our transfer station hours will be going to, I guess I'd call them summertime hours or non-winter hours, starting next Wednesday, April 19th. It will be open on Wednesdays and Saturdays from 9 to 5. We'll continue that through the summer into typically the mid-fall, and depending on weather conditions, we set up, final closure date sometime in November typically. And the last item, and Bruce may want to talk about this as well, is that both Bruce and I will be going to the town council meeting tomorrow night, really for 2 purposes. One, to talk about Primal Showers, and then also as part of the overall budget presentation tomorrow night to the town council. I believe tomorrow is really informational for the town council's purpose. I don't believe they're acting on anything because they have the ample opportunity to act, but the town manager under the charter is required to submit a draft budget at about this time of year for the council's consideration over the next month or 2 for the actual adoption later this year. And that's all I have.
Okay. Bruce?
Yes, so a couple items for you, and I can actually start on the Primal Showers to give people that haven't heard it before, that the lack of hot water up at that facility is a health code violation. It has been from some time. The health director now is requiring us to put hot water for people to rinse off at that facility before they go swimming. So we met with the health director, and she is requiring, there is supposed to be by code, 1 shower per 50 bathers. So the bather load at that pool is 75. So we have to actually add 2 showers. So we were going to end up actually adding 1 shower in the men's room and 1 shower in the ladies' room. And that was previous to this discussion. I know over the past few years, I did put a capital improvement plan together, but did not realize that the health code was different than the plumbing code. So I based my proposal on replacing in like what was there, ergo, obviously, the 8 showers that we were looking for up at that facility. But after moving forward and talking to the health agent, she's requiring 2. But after sitting down with Mr. Drury last week, he is of a mind that he would like 8 showers. Basically what I wanted before. Just from an operational standpoint, he would like the extra showers just to obviously get people through the showers in and out so there's not lines and everything else. So we will be presenting the full project to the council tomorrow night and see what they have to say.
We'll likely implement the work too in somewhat of a phased manner. In meeting with the plumbing inspector, we determined that in order to put in the isolation pans that every shower has to have to isolate drainage from one shower to another shower, we'll actually have to take out most of the concrete floor in the existing building. That's going to be a fairly extensive effort. So we, depending on workload, and I'll let Bruce talk about everything else that he's doing, but depending on workload, we may go through the effort of getting hot shower into the facility, essentially with a single shower before camp opens, and then once camp closes in the fall, do the much more extensive effort of removing the floor, putting in the individual pans so we can then create the 4 discrete showers. So essentially achieving code compliance now so the camp can open, but then making it really the facility that Mr. Drury would like to make it to attract folks and really make his program work better by putting the 4 and 4 in that Bruce has talked about. So I think we're working towards the best of both. Make certain it can get open, but then also make it a facility that's of the same quality as what the pool is.
Any questions? No? Another item for the board this evening, obviously the nice weather has turned in our favor this week, so with the help of Roy and some of his staff, we have got out there full force as of today. Tony Longo and crew is out at Leahy Field. To kind of give you a brief background on what has transpired over the winter, the recreation department has changed leagues. So at 3 of our ball fields, we've had to move pitchers mounds around and bases and everything else. So Tony Longo and crew has started today with moving the pitcher's mound forward at Leahy Field, roughly 3 feet. And we've had to move the bases actually back at that facility also. So he has started on that today. Mr. Anderson and his crew are actually over at Memorial Field. We've actually have more extensive work to be doing over there. We've moved the pitcher's mound forward about 4 feet. Because of the size of that field, we've actually got to cut back into the outfield quite a bit. So we'll be doing that in the upcoming days and getting that field ready.
Just because they changed
leagues. The previous league, and I don't know what the name of the league is. So there's different measurements and field sizes and base widths and everything else that goes along with that league. On that note, we're out there doing those things. We're actually going to Birchland Park tomorrow also. We started some some routine maintenance. The field has gotten a little bit behind us, so we got to get out there and finish that. We started in the fall, never finished it. We got to finish some edging. We bought some clay last week. That's on site at the transfer station. We'll be bringing that in tomorrow and getting that field straightened out. We were able to get onto varsity field sometime last week. I forget the day. We had a brief window opportunity to get out there when we put the pro slide material down onto the varsity field. We got half the product in. We put it out with spreaders, actual fertilizer spreaders, spread it out evenly, raked it all in with the grooming machines and everything else. We'll be getting out there once we get freed up again in the upcoming weeks. So everything's going well. We're hitting it hard. Obviously, with Roy's help and his crew, we should get everything hopefully done this week that we can and move forward. Next item I have for you this evening, we'll be wrapping up the town hall renovation project. As far as the first phase in the town manager's office, we're putting up the drop ceilings today. In that area, the health agent's office is complete. Carpet will be installed on Friday. It's kind of a good opportunity for us to get the carpet in because the town hall will be closed. We'll be the only ones at that building on Friday. The rest of the town is closed, so we're going to get the carpet in. And then as of next week, be doing punch list items and stuff like that. Sprinkler contractor's doing well. He has completed the 70s addition part of the building. They'll be moving into the old portion of the building as of tomorrow. So things are going seamlessly when it comes to the sprinkler job also. So things are looking good. That's all I have for you.
Yeah. Roy, highway and utilities?
Well, as you know, past like many years, we've compiled a list of problem areas with our drains and our sewers. And the list grows as we find new areas and so forth. So we hit these areas during the winter time. Well, we have finished like the first round. So we've actually cleaned all the sewers and drains and removed roots from my list. So some of these areas we have to hit twice because there's a bellies in the lines and grease tends to build up. So during the year we'll be hitting these other areas twice, but everything's been hit once now. We're still cameraing the different areas, as we find new sewer blocks here and there. We're still, looking into that and adding to the list. I either have it's like an offset pipe, then we'll try and get those fixed. But most of the time, it's either roots or it's a belly and then in the line, that's settled. We started out with markouts now. They've really started to come in. So as we do that, we're finding more and more things with our sewer and water that we're adding, to the collector. So all these things that we're doing, we're adding it to the collector. And with our new work order system, it's really helping out. It's going smooth. Catch basin cleanings. I've had our new foreman, Chad. He was doing that as a fill-in before, and he's training different people with that have the license. So since November 14th of last year, we've done a 10%. We've cleaned 10% of our basins in town, which is approximately 407. So that's a tremendous job they're doing. And when they do that, they do an inspection of, like, also the basins for sumps and what's the drain lines, and we make a list of what basins have to be fixed. And with our new work order system, we can put them on, either be done right away or wait, or put them on the back burner. Chad's got two crews out now, filling up the potholes and paving. So we're trying to keep up with all that, because now that all the snow is, well, there's still some that hasn't melted yet, but we're we're trying to keep up with all the potholes and paving that has to be done. I have with a new work order system, we have a 2 foremen now that have tablets that are really going to town on it. So Tom Pope is and Chad, they picked it up, really quickly. So now if I see a problem, I can take a picture and send it to them. If they're there and they fix one problem, instead of calling into the town hall, they can actually make another work order now for lumen seed or berm. So it just like streamlines everything. So they picked it up. And the next week, we'll probably get Tony on board with it too. So he'll be getting a tablet. And the tablets also have the collector on them, so there's a lot more information at their fingertips. I've had the crews go out on the 4 plow areas. The towns we divided into 4 sections, and we've identified berm and lawn damage in these areas. So now we're in the process of cleaning them up. And then we're adding to the list for berm repairs in lumen seed, and when the loom dries out. We've also have a list of signs be repaired and so forth, and we're straightening them out as needed. In the future, we're going to be getting the sweeper out, and we'll be hitting all the streets in town. Lumen seed, berm repair. We've already started to do some irrigation repairs from plow damage and so forth, so we'll be doing that and getting that started up. Also, we'll be removing sander bodies from the trucks as we get into the season. And of course, we're constantly doing catch basin repairs. And the ones that are the worst, we hit them like right away. The other ones, we put them on the back burner. So we have like a priority list. And that's all I have.
Didn't mean to note on staffing as well that we are filling up our summer staff list. We have, I think, actually 4 or 5 individuals that have worked with us before, have done very well in the past, that will be coming back to us. We're still looking for probably 1 to 2 more.
What age?
Typically 18 above. We want to have a driver's license. So at least a Class D driver's license, so they can drive a pickup truck around as needed. They don't have to be shuttled around. And people that have a good work ethic don't mind getting their hands dirty.
A lot of weed whacking.
A lot of weed whacking and other types. And we also, in addition to that, we do have this year, we've talked in the past about the senior work assistance program that residents can qualify for and receive a small tax credit for. We had 2 gentlemen that helped us out last year, worked out very well. Those gentlemen got thrown back in the hat, and we now have 3 different people that are going to be helping us out this year. They basically go by amongst the qualified applicants. They then pull straws to see, so no one individual gets favored from year to year. 2 of those people are going to be dedicated to grounds maintenance. One most likely between the Council on Aging building and the town hall. And working it out with Bruce of whether it's a couple of hours a day, just sprucing gardens up, keeping things clean, improving some of the appearance for some of the, the day-to-day type of maintenance that we typically focus on, the bigger picture type of maintenance activities. And then we'll have one gentleman helping us out, as we did last year, with things like fire hydrant painting, street sign painting, other types of activities that'll be helping Ray out. So it'll be, I think we'll be in good shape this summer.
How old is that group? How old do you have to be a senior?
Good question. I'm assuming 65, but I don't know. The program's typically been administered through, there's actually a group between our town assessor, town accountant, that administer most of that. There's probably a dozen positions, I think, open in the town altogether. I think there's 1 or 2 at town hall. I think Council on Aging might have an individual within the council. So it's spread around amongst town departments.
Okay. The thing in the past I didn't hear come up is the courtyards at the high school.
Yes.
Are we on top of that as far as, don't they have like a Mrs. McMahon group and.
Yes, I'm actually starting to get work orders, and actually, Bob got an email last week from a student that wants to do some work out there at
There's
the
an
high school.
environmental studies club
Yeah.
that we had some dialogue with, and yeah.
Yes.
So I know in the past, we've kind of just either helped them with moving some dirt in or
Yep.
taking some stuff
Yep.
out or whatever.
Yep, haven't gotten there yet, but yes.
Okay.
Next meeting will be April 25th, 2017, 5 o'clock at the service building.
Motion to adjourn?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.